The New York Liberty delivered a statement in Game 2 of the WNBA Finals, pulling through 80-66 in a game that felt eerily similar to Game 1, except this one was more of a slugfest that reminded us why New York has one of the league's best defenses. Breanna Stewart finished with a ridiculous 7 steals in this game, which really highlights how her 7-foot wingspan impacts passing lanes. This Courtney Williams drive and kick looks routine, but when Stewie is in the strong side corner, her cephalopod arms deflect this pass, and it leads to a transition 3 from Sabrina Ionescu. Here's another play where Stewie blows up a basic entry pass from Elena Smith, forcing yet another turnover. And it's plays that didn't result in a block or a steal that I think really highlight how Stewie's length bothers opponents. Courtney Williams blows by her on this play, but Stewie's ginormous arm is towering over her head and is able to affect her layup. And if you watch this play again, you'll notice that the Liberties switch everything. This was a massive departure from what they tried in Game 1, more than doubling their switch rate in Game 2. By playing bigger lineups, it makes it a lot tougher for the Lynx to punish these switches, even though Collier does here with a tough fadeaway jumper. And to go back to this play again, what you'll notice from the start is that New York picks up Courtney Williams in the backcourt, making her a little bit uncomfortable and ultimately slowing down Minnesota's offensive process. This was a subtle yet effective adjustment because at times it forced the ball out of Courtney's hands and placed it into the hands of weaker ball handlers. Kayla Thornton picks up Williams in the backcourt after this Stewie 3, and the ball pressure forces Collier to bring it up, but she's not as comfortable initiating from this area of the court, and when the defense collapses on her, she commits a travel. Here's another play where this time it's Leonie Fibich ready to pick Courtney up in the backcourt, and the aggressive ball pressure forces her to give it up to Elena Smith, and then she's pressed by Breanna Stewart. Minnesota did throw in a few wrinkles as the game went along, setting their ball screens at mid-court to get Williams going downhill a bit. This play she's able to find Elena Smith for a cutting layup. But for the most part, it was rare for Minnesota to get good looks from the Williams pick and roll in this game. New York mixed up their coverages in this game. This time Jones hedges extremely hard to prevent Williams from turning the corner, and she ends up settling for a very contested jumper. Here's another play where JJ is ready to commit to a hard hedge on this side pick and roll, but Williams rejects the screen, but Sabrina is waiting under the basket as well to provide help, and as the ball swings around, New York does a great job recovering to the play, and Laney is able to force a turnover. JJ was noticeably more aggressive on D. Even though it leads to a foul, you can see how much more aggressive she is when guarding Elena Smith. As for the Lynx, this game they didn't switch nearly as much, and the Liberty were able to get some good looks with this Sabrina Stewie inverted action that leads to an open corner 3. Because the Lynx weren't switching, Laney was able to get some quality looks off the dribble pick and roll. She makes this pull-up 3 from the opposite wing because Xanda Lassini goes under the screen. Laney had her best game of the entire playoffs, dropping 20 points off largely self-created buckets like this one, where she rejects the screen to free herself of Carlton, only to then accept the screen when she gets space. She attacks the basket, but then puts on this gorgeous up fake and this turnaround fadeaway to completely fool Elena Smith. Here's a play where Laney anticipates the Lynx not switching, so she gives a nice hesitation and then accepts the screen, and with 2 Lynx defenders on the opposite side of the screen, she can get to the cup with no resistance. This game peaked late in the 4th quarter, when Minnesota would actually cut the lead down to 6 in the 3rd quarter, and it felt like at this moment we were going to get yet another rendition of Game 1. But the Liberty would again put on a stifling defensive effort, highlighted by this Sabrina Ionescu play, where she fights to beat Bridget Carlton to her own teammate's screen, forcing her to take a wider angle on her drive to the basket that ultimately goes for naught. Late in the third, with the lead cut down to 6, we get this masterful Stewart defensive sequence where she switches onto Bridget Carlton again and contains her drive, only to then turn around and block Dorka Juhas's layup with her outstretched hand. The deflection leads to a wide open 3 for her, and the crowd goes nuclear. Here's a possession where the Liberty don't switch, and Courtney Williams makes the beautiful pocket pass to Elena Smith, but Stewie's off-ball awareness and wingspan force her to alter her driving path, leading to yet another miss. The Lynx would cut the lead down to 2 with just under 4 minutes left, thanks to a Courtney Williams drive, attacking Jonquel Jones off the switch, but those would be the last 2 points that they'd score for the rest of this game. New York would go back to attacking Minnesota's small guards, either by forcing a switch or finding one in transition. Even if they didn't result in easy shots, it put New York in the bonus fairly early in the quarter, to which they could use their advantage at the free throw line. The Liberty would shoot 7 more free throws in game 2 than the Lynx would, and these cross matches in transition were actually available for most of this game. Sabrina realizes she's matched up with Elena Smith in transition and doesn't hesitate to go right at her and finish with a nice mid-range pull-up. In the fourth quarter, clinging to a 2-point lead, New York would find success collapsing the defense with this screen for Sabrina to get behind the defense. Courtney Williams frantically rotates over to prevent a layup, but that only leaves the red-hot Laney-Hamilton open for some easy target practice. With just under 2 minutes to go, the Liberty would again throw a surprise blitz at Courtney Williams, who never really got comfortable in this game. The play leads to a turnover that happens to land right into the lap of rookie Leonie Fibic, who drains a huge 3 to help put the game away for New York. New York's defense in this game was absolutely flawless. They would give the Lynx their worst offensive rating of the entire playoffs and have now evened up this series with some momentum on their side and encouragement, knowing that they've contained a huge staple of this team's offense. I expect Minnesota to respond with some adjustments of their own, and overall I think their shot quality in this game was still good enough to win. We'll see what happens in game 3, but through the first 2 games of this series, we are now deadlocked as the series now shifts to the North Star State for what should be an absolute showdown. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've made it to the end, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you never miss a video. Also, make sure to go follow me on Twitter. It'll be linked in the description box below, and that way you can interact with me about the game more directly. In the comments, let me know what team you think will take game 3 and who will be the biggest X factor in this series. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.